Representing Colorado Mesa University, head coach Russ Martin. We have offensive linemen Zeth Ramsey and Nick Leonard, and defensive back Dustin Rivas. Coach Martin, if you could start us off.
First of all, I'd like to thank the RMAC for the great media day that we really do produce here, and it's a great opportunity for exposure for our conference. I'm very thankful and appreciative to represent Colorado Mesa University, our coaching staff, these players here. As we look into this year, it is going to be a different kind of a year. Every coach up here has talked about consistency, continuity. That's really a big key as far as a football game. Our situation is one that I think it starts with coaching staff. We've had a couple of changes again, but the good part for us, I believe, and for me personally, is that we have great consistency and continuity in our coaches. The couple of changes we made, we moved Jeremy McDowell from the running backs to our wide receivers. Jeremy was a phenomenal quarterback for me at Southeast Missouri, so he understands the passing game tremendously well. The running back coach that we brought in is Riley Newcomer. Riley played for me at University of Nebraska-Kearney. He helped as a student coach. So we've got guys that really know and understand our offensive system. Offensively, the other guys that are returning, Coach Chavez has been with me in the offensive line for a number of years at a number of different places. And then Andy Hoffman was with us last year as well. I coached with his dad. I grew up with his dad, played high school ball with him, and Andy certainly understands our system. So offensively, we've got really probably the best continuity that we've had as far as guys being on the same page. Defensively, we had one change. Mike Gobriel came in as our defensive line coach, and I think the really good thing there is as a defense coordinator, Coach Patton last year, there were a lot of changes from the things we did. Coach Gobriel played at UCLA. He coached with Coach Patton, and so he is very, very familiar with the things we're doing. And so I think having those guys, having Ben Martin back as our linebacker coach, we have the consistency there. And then Mac Alexander is a young man that has helped us in the secondary. So we have more guys from a coaching staff coaching the same thing than what we've ever had, in the time that I've been at Colorado Mesa. Now, as you look at that, we've also got great continuity in special teams, and so I think from a standpoint as far as coaches, that's really a big part. You talk about leadership out of your seniors. We're still going to have a small senior class. We'll only have 10 seniors total on our roster, and yet at the same time, we have great experience, and we've got some great leaders, and two of the seniors are right up here with us and stuff. Zeth and Nick, they were captains last year, so I think one of the things going to happen is we do have great leadership. We're going to have more depth than what we've ever had in the time that I've been up there, and yet we're a very, very young football team. Like I said, we've got 10 guys that are seniors. I was looking at the information that Ian had put together for us, and golly, we've got 20 starters in 22 positions. We've got a great number of guys that have great game experience for us, and so I think when you start to look at it, I'm expecting a lot more consistency in every phase, offensively, defensively, and in special teams. Special team-wise, we return every one of our key players there. Last year, we didn't know who was going to be our special teams guys. David Tan as his long snapper is back for us. Austin Pitchford was second in the nation last year in punting. Ryan Sheehan is back as our kicker. And then we've also got DJ Hubbard, who is one of the top return guys in the country. So we've got some key guys back from the special team standpoint. And then, like I said, offensively, we got 4 starters back in the offensive line, including Nick and Zeth. So we're going to have some consistency there. Aaron Simons and Austin Beswick have been starters for us. So we've got good size, good continuity up there. We've got Eric Sander Cedarloff, who has played a lot for us, has started a couple games, so we've got some guys in the front that give us a great start. We have both of our tight ends back, Dalton Horan and Brian Bunner, so we've got guys there that can help us out. And so as we look down the line, I think it all still starts up front on both sides of the ball. Everybody always asks about quarterback. Coach Rosenbaum was talking about you got to have a trigger man there. Eric Kaiser had a phenomenal spring for us, and it was first time in my years up there that I had actually announced him, and I told him individually that he would be coming in as the starter. That lo and behold, here this summer we had a transfer, a young man right out of Grand Junction, Sean Rubalcaba, and when Sean called me, I called Eric and I told him, I said, Eric, I said, you had a great spring. I said, but at the same time, I'm going to give Sean the opportunity to start. I told Sean that same thing. Sean is very much situated for our kind of an offense, and I was tremendously pleased with both those guys' responses because Eric's response to me was just simply a standpoint. He says, Coach, He says, I'm fine with that. He says, anybody wants to be the starter, they got to come through me. I think that speaks very highly of him. And Sean was the same way. He doesn't want something given to him. And so we're going to have some great competition. So we're going to have the best caliber of quarterbacks that we've had in the time that I've been up there. Defensively, like I said, it starts a lot with some key personnel. Dustin Rivas up here with us. Dustin was the freshman of the year last year. Phenomenal corner. Led the nation as far as passes defended. And then the other guy that's going to be coming back for us was 2 years ago. William Milo was the defensive freshman player of the year. Last year he was ineligible. He has got himself taken care of academically, and so he will give us great strength up front. Now, along with those guys, you got a lot of other guys that have played for us up front. You can start, we had last year, Taylor Schultz has played a bunch for us up there. You got guys like Mitch Irwin. You got guys like, golly, I got to think here a second, Jeremy Aquino, Taylor Barton. All those guys played a bunch. And then on the edges, we had Blake Nelson, who had a phenomenal year, Marcus Cross, who's a preseason all-conference pick. So we've got some guys up front that are going to give us some depth and some athletic ability when we get going there. Tommy Sager returns as a linebacker, had a great year, moved him from the secondary up into the middle linebacker spot, and as the year progressed, I think Tommy's going to be a phenomenal player for us up in there. Carlos Avilas only played the first game last year and tore his knee up. Carlos is going to be one of the most athletic linebackers I've seen in this conference in a long time. Chris Thorson is a very good backup for us. Jay Henderson is coming back. So we've got some young guys that are going to really be able to give us some depth and some experience there. In the secondary, along with Dustin, Tony White and Salim Cleghorn both started at safeties. Cody Daniels had started. Cody got hurt as well early in the season. And so Cody is a guy that can give us great experience in that secondary. Colby Dixon has played a lot for us back there. We got two other corners as well that really battled it out during the spring. Jackson Burrell and George Manning, both are Colorado guys from the Front Range here. So when we start to look at our football team, I'm very excited, and I'm very excited because of the caliber of players we have, and I'm also very excited because of the experience that returns. Even though we're young, we've got a lot of experience, and we got a lot of players.
Questions?
Yes, good morning, Coach. Craig Moran from Hero Sports. First of all, thank you for really answering a lot of my questions. Make our jobs easier, but nonetheless, speaking of quarterback, you had Andrew Cota last year. He was also your leading rusher, and apparently he is not returning. So, was that part of the reason you brought in Sean, because you knew there was?
Well, we didn't bring Sean in. Sean contacted us, and prior to Sean contacting us, I felt very good with the quarterbacks we have. And like I said, Eric Kaiser really had a phenomenal spring, and he understands our system, understands our checks, understands the things that we're trying to do, and he can throw the football tremendously well. And so until Sean had contacted us, I already felt good. We got Kyle Duran. Kyle Duran started games for us. Kyle's actually going to be our number 3 quarterback. Exactly. So we've got guys that have started for us in the past that really become our second or third team quarterbacks. But Sean really gives us some quality depth at the quarterback spot. And so we're going to have a great competition up there. And like I said, I'm very excited about that. Maybe the only time in my entire coaching career that would equal the way I feel about our quarterbacks coming in right now. When I was at Southeast Missouri, and we had Coach McDowell was playing for us, had a young man, Jack Tomko, who after Coach McDowell got hurt, ended up setting almost every passing record down there at Southeast Missouri. And then we also had a young man that was number 3 for us down there by the name Andrew Goodenough, who had transferred from Arizona State and had started for Arizona State in a couple games before he transferred there. So I feel very, very good about our trigger man.
Question for either Nick or Zeth. You look at having 4 guys coming back who started for the most part last year, and you have also Beswick, who had a couple starts last year. Talk about what it means to have that kind of continuity on the offensive line coming in, if whoever's the quarterback, that extra time.
Especially with the O-line, it's like a team within a team. So having those guys you're familiar with that you can make similar calls with and they know what you're talking about is really important. The guy next to you is going to make the block, so you're really confident with that. It's not a question mark. Confident with all the guys, even like Austin Fleer, who played a little bit last year, probably play some left tackle, play some Teddy. But, that's super important with the O-line because it's, like I said, it's team within a team. You need to have confidence with your players around you.
I think that kind of goes to off-field too as well. You know, summer workouts and off-season workouts. I mean, we're always working out together, and we've created a bond between all of us. I mean, starters, non-starters, second string, everybody. We all have a bond about us, and that alone is going to give us the extra edge to, you know, be a better offensive line and do what we need to do to protect the quarterback, open up lanes, and win games.
Dave Collins, Eagle Communications in Shatner, Nebraska. A question for Dustin. Dustin, last year you led me to a pass defend in the game. Just curious, what makes you such a good defensive back, and then give us some thoughts on the Mesa defensive secondary in general coming into the year.
I mean, I feel after last season, I went in with a lot of confidence and stuff, but I don't think I did anything, I would say, dramatic or anything. I just did the techniques the coaches were teaching, and I mean, what helped me was just not straying away from the system and just really following the scheme and just doing my assignment. And then from then, just knowing I had a lot of people who played in games and knew what they were doing in the secondary, it helped me be more aggressive. And also, like, just because we're returning our safeties, it's going to help spark another big year for all of us as a defense, because we know we could trust each other. And as the secondary, I mean, anyone who's played it understands that it's not just one guy making plays. It's understanding the safety is going to create a play for you, or you're going to create a play for a safety just by doing your assignment. Yep.
Dustin, did you anticipate last year coming in as a freshman? You had 6 interceptions, named freshman of the year. Imagine that was probably top of your goals, but did you think that would actually happen last year?
I mean, every football player knows what they're capable of, and I went into the season having high hopes and knowing what I was capable of, but really just trying to strive for that. I mean, it was a great accomplishment. I reached a lot of goals and stuff, but I mean, I went in knowing what I was capable of, just tried to not do too much things dramatic, just really do what I was supposed to do, and then just see if plays would come to me, and they did.
Any other questions?
Coach Martin, you brought in a couple of honorable mention all-conference linemen here with you, and Zeth and Nick. Just curious what you think the offensive line compared to the rest of the conference stacks up this year. Do you feel like they're going to be among the top of the conference?
You know, honestly, we don't compare against anybody else as far as in a conference. We just compete against ourselves. And what I'm excited about is what these guys talked about. The offensive line, and it's no different. I believe you win the games up front. We have to be able to run the football consistently. We got to be able to protect the quarterback for us to throw the ball extremely well. And I think what we've got is we've got some guys that understand our system. And I think that's the most important thing, is that you get 11 guys on the same page. And like I said, I think that's the best way. The spring was the best we've had. And it starts with the guys up front, and I think just like Nick was talking about, their communication is very good. And if we can do that, we've got guys that physically can match up. If you go back to the first year that I was in conference, we didn't physically match up with very many people. And I've shared it before, that first year, we were physically not a very strong football team in our front 7 guys. We are a very physical football team now, and that's what we want to be able to have. And so I feel very good with our offensive line, and I think they're all on the same page, which is the biggest thing that can happen.